in the bottom right, in the blue. Give it up for Byun! And his opponent in the red, he needs to turn this series around. He is Dark!
From here on out, it's match point. Byun at any time could become the world champion. But Dark absolutely will not be happy with going down 1-4. We will be seeing his absolute best play here in game number 5 on King's Sejong Station.
This is the map we've seen a lot of here throughout StarCraft 2's history. We've had tons of different games on it in the different iterations of StarCraft. So there's a lot of different ways these guys can play. This is probably one of the most understood maps in StarCraft 2 history, if not the most. So a great way for us to go into this series. Let's see what kind of unit comp Byun is going to be picking here. Is he going to be going for the Reaper play? Is he going to go for super aggressive? Oh, well, I guess it's being answered for me right now. As the command center goes down, he gets the one Reaper out here for pressure. So this is very middle of the road, Byun.
Yeah, it is, and I do wonder, the second barracks just started after the command center.
Okay.
So this looks like we might finally see the build that maybe Byun is best known for, the double medevac stim timing attack. It's a really, really strong opener where Byun he pushes back your creep immediately, and if you miss micro one time, if you overdrone at all, he might kill your third base.
Yeah, and it's kind of cool to see that Byun did not pick this build to use early on in the series. He had a bunch of builds you can only use once or twice in a series to throw out here, and now he's bringing out his Byun bread and butter Terran build. And we've seen a lot of Zergs just get crushed, like straight up.
Yeah.
This comes out, not because of how genius the strategy is, but of how well he executes it when he does it. His control is the best in the world.
Well, that is what we are going to be seeing here out of Byun most likely. So excited for Dark to be able to try to counter that. I'm sure he came into this series with a very solid plan on how to stop Byun from doing a ton of damage with this opener because he is so well known for it.
Well, I know that Dark has definitely studied this build. He's definitely familiar with this because Byun is obviously just now winning a GSL Code S. All of his games are out there. And people, when they want to study Terran or study how to play against Terran, they're going to be looking at Byun's game. So I'm curious, assuming that Dark does figure out what Byun is up to, how he responds to this. Dark is the best Zerg player in the whole world. Surely he should have the best answer for us. They're trying to learn about StarCraft.
Yeah, that is a fact right there. Now, look at how Dark is going about this. He's taking down these back rocks right now. He wants to have a lot of movement around. Sometimes Terrans do siege tank pushes over there, so he wants to avoid that. He's taking his third base, continuing to drone up, and now his Overlord sees exactly what it is. With what he saw there, he knows completely what Byun is doing.
The Dark is the best reactionary player in the world, and that's what Zerg is all about. So we're going to see how he makes these minor adjustments to try to either deflect or completely shut down this push that's going to be coming out. And what's great for Byun here is there's a lot of ways as well for him to play this out from here.
Oh,
right? Yeah. You kind of push out, you gauge where the Zerg's at. Is the Zerg overreacting, underreacting? Did he do it just right? And then you decide when you want to expand, how you want to tech up. Do you have a follow-up timing? So there's a lot to this.
Well, it looks like we have plenty of queens right now for Dark. Those are going to be really helpful at pushing back the medevacs. He already has that Zergling speed, so that's important, but he doesn't want to make his Zerglings until the last possible moment. Also throwing down 2 evolution chambers, trying to get the heads up on those upgrades.
He's coming out now. This is the timing with this push. Remember, Byun's control better than anything you have seen here. It lines right up with Stim here. Stim about 9 seconds away from completing. Dark should know where the push is coming out here. He might try to go ahead and get the medevac. If you can bruise that medevac early on, maybe later on you could shoot it out of the sky when there are still Marines inside of it.
That's exactly what he's looking to do now. Nice scan from Byun. He wants to push this creep back so that the queens don't have mobility. They need to be on creep where they just move too slowly. So very well done pushing that back. Comes up, destroys yet another tumor as well.
We see the queen staying back. Now, this shows you how patient of a player Dark really is. He's always staying back. You don't want to attack the Terran until the last possible second, because Zerg is just mustering up more and more and more forces to try to take this on. It also puts a timer here on Terran. Terran has to decide, do I keep pushing forward, or is it time to pull out? Because a Terran that stays in there too long or overextends is going to lose his army, and it probably lose the game.
Okay, perfect hold so far by Dark, but Byun is not done. He's making 2 siege tanks, more Marines, more medevacs, getting combat shields in +1. And, I mean, there's no way that he can die right now. There's no real way he can take damage other than miss-microing while attacking Dark. So he's in a good spot still, even though it didn't really do any damage to Dark.
And that's why this build is actually so good, is that it allows you to come out here and poke and actually do a lot of damage potentially. Or you can go back and play a very safe game, as well as just doing drops. It's very flexible as a build. He's going to be coming out here now. Now this is the second phase where he has some tanks with this and try to see if he can't shave off some queens or lings here.
Any shots those tanks get off are big, and again, this right here is exactly why those rocks were taken out early. Dark is prepared for this. He knew this was likely going to be the second step of this push.
Okay, he can begin to leapfrog the tanks if he wants, but he's got to be careful. He's right on the edge of that creep. Looks like the lings and banelings are coming down here now. The queens will come in to try to target down the medevacs. It looks like Byun is overextended as Dark is gobbling up the forces of Byun.
Oh, but the targeting on those banelings is amazing. Every baneling goes down, and somehow he keeps the bulk of his army alive.
That's Byun for you. That's Byun. I think any other Terran would have lost so much there, but he just targets each individual baneling down so well. And this really highlights the problem that most players have against a player like this. He wins a lot of battles that sometimes it feels like he maybe shouldn't win.
Yeah. He's hitting before baneling speed. He's cleared out the creep so nothing can connect. Byun is so strong here, but Dark, he's got his 3 bases, he's got good creep spread on the other side and is trying to do a little counterattack here with some Zerglings, but Byun sees it and his wall goes up.
Byun is just bouncing these counterattacks off of him. Meanwhile, the push from Byun still coming up here. Dark is going to have to scramble to try to hold this position. If Dark loses his base, there's a high chance he could lose this game.
Oh, still microing back so well. The siege tanks get taken out. That's a big deal here for Dark, but he has to get back on the creep.
But again, Byun just does not lose his Marines. He's so good at controlling these units and eking out so much. The third base now going down here for Byun. In the bottom center, the Lings may try to come down here and deny that if they can. As far as supplies go, they're basically tied right now, although Dark seems to be beginning to boost that back up. But I don't believe that Byun's going to be stopping with these pushes anytime soon, Artosis.
No, he is going to continue non-stop. He's got a lot of medevacs and a lot of Marines. And right now, with Dark taking that 4th base, there's quite a few spots that he can go and try to get some damage done.
All right, looks like the 3rd base is stabilized down here. Meanwhile, Dark taking the 4th in the upper right. There is a chance that Byun will begin to split his armies up here and start dropping in multiple locations, hoping that Dark can't handle the multitasking. Here comes the first drop over here, but it's really...
Great catch by Dark. That's a huge deal. But here comes some Liberators and the rest of the Marines of Byun. The Queens are all out of position and can't deal with this. A lot of the Banelings getting sniped, but they do have speed. Rolling through right now, going at the Marines.
Good pickup there at the last second. A brilliant play. However, it does seem that we're at the point in time where Dark is just beginning to have enough. He can shut down every kind of attack, and that may mean that Byun is going to have to play a very different game.
Yeah, it's starting to get into that late game. Already the infestation pit down, the hive on the way. Dark is going towards those crucial ultralisks he wants to get, and he hasn't really lost that many drones this game. That's super important for him. Byun, is he going to stay too aggressive like we saw on New Gettysburg? Or will he back it up?
It is possible. It's very possible. Now, just similar to the New Gettysburg game, we see Byun is actually stuck on 3 bases, and it's been like that for a while, where Dark is here on 4 and will probably be taking a 5th here momentarily. But that means he's going to be pretty big and tough to take on.
It's so true. You know, you want to be the aggressive player. You want to be in Dark's space. There is the downside to it. If you get into the longer game, it's going to be hard to keep up with his production. Sure, their supplies are similar right now, but Byun doesn't really have the infrastructure to go into mass liberators or get into mass ghosts very easily.
And as Dark's tech gets more and more sophisticated, it's going to be easier and easier to shut down each of Byun's pushes.
All right, Byun trying to get something done up near that 4th base. A ton of Zerglings up here, just forcing him to pick up. Meanwhile, the rest of Byun's army circling around towards that natural once again. Oh, that is a lot of Widow Mines, Tasteless.
All right, he's coming down now. The Banelings attempting to connect with Byun has such a good spread. He's gunning the Lynx down one by one. Dark seems to be miscontrolling. More Banelings spill down. Can Byun control well enough?
It looks like Byun gets away with a decent amount of units, but these Widow Mines certainly did a lot of work. Meanwhile, Liberators all over the place. Dark pulls most of the drones, not taking too much damage, but still slowing down his mining quite a bit.
My God, Byun is everywhere right now. Dark is having to try to deflect each of these individual attacks. Meanwhile, Dark now going up to the Ultralisk Cavern. That when he gets that tech, if he can get that tech in time, it's going to be much easier to try to hold off these forces that are pushing his expansions.
Oh, those Widow Mines being rearmed, dealing more and more damage. This area has been a headache for Dark. At least he's defending up in the top right near his fourth base, but the Liberators continuing to harass while the bulk of Dark's army is trying to defend his natural.
Still very even supplies. Note the expansion location here for Byun is very close to the pushing location here for Dark. He wants to take this base and defend it while it's still continuing to push. That's usually a good indicator that he's not going to stop pushing for a little while here.
Yeah, you get to rally through, kind of protect it through aggression. Byun continuing to try to get something done with those Liberators. Here we go, setting up Liberators. Those Speed Banelings coming in, try and knock out Byun's army, but Byun with some nice splitting in the back.
He's continuing to push forward. It is critical that Byun takes out this fourth base. Dark has to hang on. The Ultra Tech is now out. We do have Ultralisks on the way. Byun is going to try to abuse the architecture of the map. Will he be able to do it? Or does Dark have too much?
Dark rolling forward with so many Banelings and Zerglings trying to kill off everything that Byun has here. Those high ground Marines being nothing more than an annoyance, and Dark continues to hold on with Ultralisks about to hatch.
We have the fourth base now up for, almost up here for Byun. He's going to try to hold this position, but that may be a very good location for Dark to try his own counterattack. It's a very short distance to travel. And now we see the Zerg army is getting higher and higher here in supply, still matched by the Terrans. It looks like the center left, though, maybe the focal point for another push. If you notice with Byun, he tends to send in one medevac or one Liberator set up, draw the screen away, and then begin a big push somewhere else on the map. And it looks like we're having that happen right here, right now.
He's trying to draw Dark's attention somewhere else. The Queen's already there to take it down, though. This push from Byun, can it get the fifth base location? This fifth base is important. Dark is mining out of his first couple of bases. So if he doesn't get more resources, he can't keep up his Ultralisk production.
Meanwhile, another attack over here in the north. We have Byun pushing up. He is doing a very good job of deciding when to pull back over here. Another attack down here by Dark. Over in the center, it doesn't seem that Byun has enough, no medevacs here, but Dark being cautious, knowing he's miscontrolled against Byun before, decides to back up.
Yeah, he wants to get right back on that creep, and now the Ultralisks are out. The army of Dark is going to continue to get stronger and stronger, and if Byun stays too far forward on the map, this might turn out exactly like New Gettysburg, his only loss so far in the finals.
Here come the Ultras and the Lynx coming down now, but does Byun have too much? The Lynx and Ultras are spilling forward. If they break this location, they'll have access to the fourth base of Byun.
Wow, those Widow Mines getting huge hits, and some great micro from Byun on top of the ramp, forcing Dark back. Byun holds on to his fourth.
Byun, his control, man, he's just so good. He keeps deflecting every attack that Dark has. And we haven't had a moment in this game, for instance, where Dark has really been in there doing damage and Byun lost some position on the map.
I have to say it, he's a literal god, Tasteless.
Yeah, we have the command centers continuing to just try to be mined from. These bases try to be mined from. Keep in mind that we will not have Byun take a fifth base easily here. So he's kind of stuck on 4. If he gets a fifth base, that's going to be really, really tough. Dark, at the same time, also has the same problem. This map is getting pretty congested. We're really running out of expansions. We're running out of opportunities for these guys. So pretty soon here, the next few battles are going to be the big decider, as someone's going to run out of locations to take.
You're certainly right about that. And so far I like where Dark is at. He's trying to get into Corruptors right now with that Spire to help against the Mass Liberators. But there are quite a few Liberators being made 4 at a time right now for Byun. and Liberators just crush Ultralisks. So if he can set those up and defend them with his bio, with his Widow Mines, he can push into that 5th base location.
He's definitely booby-trapped this part of the map, so it would be very undesirable for Zerg to try to move through that location over there. You can see also Dark checking in the bottom left to just make sure there's no expansions there or in the center right. Is Byun going to move out right now? Both players are maxing out, meaning they can't be making any more units.
All right, the Liberators starting to get set up. If he can target down those Ultralisks, it's going to be huge for him. Catches a lot of Banelings morphing in. Really well done there by Byun. That could have done a lot of damage to his economy.
It looks like Byun's going to set up 2 attacks, a small one over here in the upper right and a large one in the center left. He's scanning, trying to survey a good position that he's got over here. Will Dark be able to counter this? Keep in mind, Dark can't change his unit composition because he is maxed out. So he has to fight this off, and if it's not the right comp, remake the proper one when this comes down, whereas Byun, a very balanced army composition.
Yeah, he certainly has that, but the Vipers are charging up. They're going to come over and start with their Abducts. Dark trying to slow down this push. Those Liberation Rings are coming closer and closer.
All right, he's so close. It's going to be so important that Dark manages to hang on. We see the Ultras coming in here. The Liberators beat Harpoon back. The Banelings spill forward, but it seems that Byun manages to hold this position.
Dark comes in with a flank from the other side as well. The Ultras coming back forward. Lots of transfusions going down, but the Ultras starting to get shredded a bit. One Ultra up near his other base, but Byun still holding on.
A fantastic job so far. Byun holds off with just a very little bit, although both players' armies have been massively diminished. 126 supply to 137.
Such a close game at this moment. Dark lost almost all of his expensive units. Byun holding on with a lot of red bio here. He doesn't have a lot of medevacs to heal them up, and even less as the Corruptors pick some off.
Byun, everything in his army so bruised, but he's keeping it alive. As long as it's alive, it continues to do damage. He's pushing Dark back.
Dark in some trouble here. Byun trying to go for the throat. Some Ultras being made. A lot of Zerglings and Banelings as well. He's got to hold on to this base, but you know what? He took a 6 in the middle as well.
That's right. While this action was going on, the center expansion for Zerg has been acquired. Meanwhile, it looks like Byun is going to try to take the bottom left. But this is the center point of this game here on this map right now. He needs to try to take this out. Dark has to eliminate this army, or that is eventually going to be pushed and taken out.
Lings and Banelings push everything back. Meanwhile, the Corruptors trying to take down any Liberators that they can. Picking some of them off, some of them standing and fighting against the Corruptors. Not a good match for the Liberators here, but Byun microing his heart out.
A game of tug of war here in the center of the map as they try to crush each other's forces. There may be an opportunity down here in the bottom left if Dark can muster up enough Zerg units to try to attack that down there. If we can do a mineral check right now on the Terran bases, I'm curious. There's nothing left here. Basically nothing left here. That's fine, but then in the top, in the middle there, okay, so that base, so it's getting low, and Terran have a harder time expanding out further and further. So definitely keep in mind, if Dark just continues to hang on, he could end up winning this just because everything will have dried up here for Byun.
Yeah, that definitely could be how this goes down. Now, starting to attack in on that planetary, that would be a bad idea. Getting a little bit overconfident right now with his army. The SCV.
Bravest SCV.
Oh, rip. But you know what? If he can go down and take out this base, Byun's economy is going to shrink massively.
That's right, but if he overextends, Byun will get that counterattack. We see him now stepping forward, taking out all these Banelings before they can finish hatching. Dark trying to come back and drive these forces back, but when they go under the Liberators, so much damage dished out. Will these Banelings manage to connect with these Marines?
Oh, Dark is trying his best right now to catch up with the Banelings, but Byun just continues kiting back. Look at this spread, I can't believe it! He takes almost no damage from those Banelings.
The SCVs have been taken out here at this expansion. Byun scrambling to reclaim this, what is soon to be the only expansion available here on this map for him.
You know, that might have been a mistake for Dark. That probably would have killed any other Terran in the world, but Byun holds on tight, keeps this command center alive, and will continue to mine from his 5th base.
Dark is really going untouched at his own bases. The only other expansion that hasn't been acquired on the map is the center right, but that one is a very, very difficult one for Byun to take in this phase in the game. So he's really gonna have to kind of rely on this bottom left base, these bruised units. Again, their supplies throughout this entire game have almost always been exactly the same. So the fights have been super even.
Throughout this series, almost. I mean, these guys are a perfect match for a BlizzCon WCS Finals.
We see a brilliant counterattack here, taking out these workers. This is huge. Byun now down to 34 workers total to the 73 workers here of Dark. Meanwhile, Byun pushing in over here. He's trying to take this base out here at the center left.
Dark has to evacuate. He knows he can't hold on to that base right now, so down it will go. But the damage he's done is massive as well. Looks like he wants to come down, see if he can save that at all. And, oh, he's actually drawn this army up near the planetary. Very good knowing Dark is not even looking at it.
However, Byun's army is pretty scary. Byun may not need resources if he can push all the way across the map and take out these remaining bases.
Dark has a lot of drones at that middle base. If he can take that out, it's a giant deal. The Liberation Zone's getting up, but the Corruptor's coming in from the other side, taking out the Liberators, and a lot of Lings and Ultras charging forward.
But Byun's control is just too good. Ultras alone are not good. They need Lings to back them up. Byun may continue to push forward at this very important expansion here in the center of the map for Zerg.
Oh man, this is so crazy, so close. Byun is being more aggressive than I've ever seen a Terran against this many Ultralists, but somehow, some way, he's making it work. Dark trying to hold on, pushing forward. Once again, the Corruptor's picking off some valuable air units.
He's getting close. He's almost in range of the hatchery. The bottom left base has been reclaimed by Byun, so Byun can continue to mine. He was pretty much dried up for a little bit unless that counterattack is over there with those Lings.
Big connection by a Baneling there. When you get this low, the Banelings can wipe out your army in less than a second. Another good hit goes off, but he can't go down that ramp. There's Liberators and Widow Mines waiting.
This is all Byun has, really, is this army. He just needs to get this base. Dark has to control perfectly. Byun can't mine at the bottom left. It's all going to come down to this one force.
Oh, he's trying to target down that hatchery, but still Dark holding on tight. He runs into the middle, Widow Mines through the Liberators, trying to get everything off. This Ultralist going to town.
He's still got these Marauders here, but has Dark managed to hang on for long enough? It's now 65 drones to 13 SCVs. Dark may have weathered the storm. GG!